And hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Real Talk on 92.5 WLSD, The Vault. Joined with me tonight is Bullfrog and Amber. Thank you all for joining once again.
Always.
No problem. Thank you for having us.
And tonight we're going to have a fun time. We're going to dive into the brand new natural disaster movie, Twisters. And it's going to be a fun show. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to diving into this discussion. But before we get into it, please go to all of our social media pages. That's the Spotify, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram, The Other People Show. The numbers on those are growing considerably, so thank you all very, very much for spreading the word. Spotify is up a great deal, and so is the YouTube page. So thank you all for that as well. First, before we get into the show, I want to give a warm, a shout out to our friend Wes. He's in the hospital right now. A couple weeks ago, he had a freak accident, so we want to send him some well wishes. He's a loyal listener to WLSD and Steve's show, The Rock Show on Saturday, House of Rock. So Wes, we're thinking of you and praying for you. So
Prayers to you, buddy.
Get well soon, buddy. But tonight we're going to be diving into the brand new movie Twisters, and it came out last weekend with a vengeance, and I think it's going to be around for a while. And it's a sequel, so to speak, I guess you could say. 28 years after the original Twister came out in 1996. May 1996. So, how are you all doing? It's been a little while. You all saw, you all weren't here last week, but the week before with Maxine.
Yeah.
And I had seen Twisters a few nights ago. We hadn't really decided to see this movie, or to review the movie when we've seen it. But you all happened to write over, that you enjoy the movie. And then I was like, let's do Twisters. Yeah. Because it's a good movie to discuss.
It is.
It really is.
A lot happened.
Yeah.
It was, yeah.
So before we get in, now have you all have obviously seen the original Twister?
Yeah. It had been a while for me, but I do remember loving that movie.
Okay.
Oh, me too. That movie made me want to start chasing storms.
Be a storm chaser.
No.
No.
No. Now I
watch other people
better
do it.
CGI. I decided otherwise.
Right. Now I happened to see the original Twister in the movie theater.
Mm-hmm.
Saw it in Coburn Theater. Went with a kid in my class, and it was a cool experience because at that point, if you go back and look, there hadn't been a lot of tornadoes captured on screen or for the movies. What was really the only tornado that you'd really seen in the movie? Wizard of Oz.
Probably.
It doesn't really show anything that much.
Just through the window, I think.
Through the window.
Like the house.
And what kind of CGI effects do you have?
Exactly.
For it?
Exactly. Back then, you probably had a sheet of paper, and then you had somebody drawing the little lines with a pencil, making like a tornado outline. But now we have Twisters. But even back in 1996, if you go look, that was one of the first times where they incorporated that kind of CGI in the film. Because if you go back and remember, they had at one point there was a cow that was going in the air
and around the whole tornado.
Yeah, and I haven't watched the original one in quite some time, so I don't know how it holds up to today.
Yeah.
But I know the last time that I did watch it, I happened to be on VHS. That's how long it was.
I think I might have seen it on cable.
Oh. Okay. On cable?
Yeah.
So the new Twister is a retired tornado chaser and meteorologist is persuaded to return to Oklahoma to work with a new team and new technologies. And that's basically the premise of the film. Now, have you all been out to Oklahoma?
No. The closest I had been was probably New Mexico.
Let's see, what is causing that, I wonder?
Moving it.
I never do know exactly. Sometimes you would think because we're getting too close, but we're not really close because we're all relatively further back from the mic than we typically are. Yeah. So we'll do the best that we can. We got the producer back there. I'm not going to say who it is, Lana. She's back there. No, I'm just kidding. She's not back there. She's listening tonight. Thank you for listening.
Yeah.
I like to sometimes say that she's the producer and she's the off-site producer of the show.
But someone to blame.
Yes, if there's some problems. A scapegoat. We're all saying it in jest. But anyway, you've got, I've been to Oklahoma, not specifically to Oklahoma, but I've driven through Oklahoma a couple of times. And when you drive through that kind of landscape, for me anyway, it was beautiful, but it was overwhelming.
Yeah.
Because here we're kind of secluded in these mountains, so you're kind of enclosed. But out in Oklahoma, just imagine how life would be here with no mountains. Just as flat almost as far as the eye could see.
Oh yeah.
And you feel so small.
I've been through Kansas.
Yeah. So exactly,
Yeah.
Kansas. So you know exactly Kansas the same kind of way.
It sucks.
And you didn't like it?
No, I hated it.
Did you?
I had to drive to get to Colorado.
Okay. So you've probably been. Have you been to Oklahoma as well, or did you turn up before you got to Oklahoma?
Yeah.
Probably went upward. But that is something that a lot of these people that live in the part of the country have to deal with on a
Daily basis.
Yeah, a tornado.
Yeah.
Hurricane Alley,
Yeah.
I think, was a real thing. And would you all, knowing that this, tornadoes hit this certain region, would you live in that region?
No.
Mm.
How close
Ain't
would
no
you live
way.
in that region, would you think?
New Mexico.
Virginia.
Okay, New Mexico. What did you say?
Virginia.
Okay, so you're
I'll stay
you're as
right
close
here.
as you need to be.
Arizona.
The New Mexico and Arizona, two of my favorite
the
states.
Desert.
I love the desert as well.
And I had family in Arizona, so I spent a lot of time in Arizona as a kid, and it was
Amazing. Now, I've only been, drove through, Arizona and New Mexico, and I got a very similar feeling. Like, it seemed like something that was just pulled out of a movie.
Yeah,
Mhm.
really.
Like, it just like,
Don't seem real.
no, it doesn't. You're like, this just doesn't seem real.
Have you been to Utah?
I have.
It's
It's one of my favorite
like
states as well. Actually,
God's country, I think.
I think this fall there's a trip planned out to Utah, and then we're going to make a trip out to Slab City, California.
Oh.
So I'm hoping to make it about. It's not going to be as long as I would like to, just
Right.
due to funds. But
Yeah.
maybe make a 7 to 10 day trip.
You should
Yeah.
check out the Valley of Fire. I think it's in New Mexico or Arizona.
Okay,
Or
Valley
it
of
might
Fire.
be on the tail end of Nevada.
I'll write that down then.
Because Utah and Nevada, they're so close.
Side, yeah. Well, there's some place out there. It's called like Four Corners USA,
Yeah.
where you can be
Oh,
in
I've
all
been.
four.
I went as
Have you?
I was like 10 when I
What
went.
is it? Utah, Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado.
Yes.
So those four.
Yep.
So you have two legs.
You stand in 4 states at
Yeah,
once. if
4
you're on
states
the-
at one time.
The X.
Wow.
That's like 4
I didn't
states
know
on the
that.
bucket list right there.
They
Wow.
have the London Bridge in Arizona, I think.
It
Okay.
didn't fall down
Or
yet?
it's right there. Well, they pulled it brick by brick and put it back together. I think. That's
They,
what my dad told me.
they
when I went
probably
and saw
did.
it. I was a kid. I probably believed it. And
hey,
my mom
hey
probably-
Susan, hey Destiny, a couple of people in the chat. If you want to chat, you can go on the Facebook page, Ryan Parker or the other people's show
Sure.
as well. So we have the director. This is a director that I hadn't heard of, Lee Isaac Chung, and he directed. Where was that coming from?
I know. Didn't it sound like somebody said director?
It was Lana once again. Lana, quit pushing the buttons. It's okay. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. We're just kidding with her. But I had not really heard of this director before this movie. Minari in 2020 was the only movie that I had even heard of when I looked him up, and that was a small independent film. And you would never be able to look at that body of work and say, this person would know how to make Twisters.
Right.
That would be like looking at me and saying, okay, I could make a movie like Long Legs or Maxine possibly, but a movie like Twisters, I wouldn't even know how to go about doing such a thing.
Right.
Who
And
are you
that-
going to hire and
exactly.
everything else, man?
And that's what it seemed like the challenge was from this director
It
from
seems
what I've
like
seen.
it's like a Spielberg level.
Yes. Like, I don't know if I
Very
have the
good movie.
skills and know-how to go to this level.
Right.
I can create fake kills or build tension or make comedy, things
Right.
like that. But devastation and destruction and CGI and tornadoes,
How do you make that?
no.
For real. It's just
Well,
Especially-
like the people
He
that do
did an
this.
amazingly well job.
Yes. Yes, he did. Daisy Edgar Jones played Kate Carter. She was a meteorologist in The Former Storm Chaser. We've got Glenn Powell as Tyler Owens, a famous storm chaser on the internet, and Anthony Ramos, I guess, as Javi, Kate's former storm chaser colleague.
Yeah.
And for those that know the movie Thanksgiving, we reviewed that back in the fall. He's kind of making his name, I think, coming up in these films, as is Glenn Powell. And we were discussing right before the show started how he got his start. His first movie was what? Spy Kids 3D? Which was back in what, 2003?
I was 10 years old.
So he's been around for a lot longer, but if you go back and look at his IMDb for the last couple of years, he had like a war movie called Devotion a couple of years back. Didn't do that great, but it put him on the map. He was in the Top Gun, the last Top Gun movie. He was in Top Gun. Have you all watched that one?
I've watched bits and pieces of it. I haven't got to watch the whole
I've heard it's
movie.
really good. I haven't watched it. But I feel if you watch that, you need to be able to watch it on like that would have probably been a good theater movie. You know what I mean? Like those kind of movies.
Yeah.
Or a bigger screen with great sound.
Yeah.
But Glenn Powell was in that. He was in this romantic comedy with this blonde-headed Sweeney actress. Can't think of her name, but she's an up-and-comer. That was a hit movie, and then he was in a Netflix movie about him being a part-time assassin, which I haven't watched, but I thought about it. It looks like it could be good.
Part-time assassin?
Yeah.
Part-time.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll have to see what it is, what it's called, but it's on Netflix. It's a Netflix movie, and it's a pretty new movie. And he's like a part-time assassin, and then he's in this movie Twisters. And then he's got about 6 more movies, so he's going to be an up-and-coming star, I think.
So he appears in the rodeo scene. Oh, yeah, he's the angry hotel guest.
Yeah. So, let's see here what he's in also. So those are the 3 major cast members, and I think they all did a good job.
They
I really thought so. So we'll get into a few facts before we dive into the meat and potatoes of the show, of the movie. James Paxton, which is the son of Bill Paxton, who was star of the original, appears during the rodeo scene as the angry hotel guest, which is what you were talking about. And at first I was thinking, who is this? But then it's the hotel guest who wants his money back. They don't really think that the tornado's coming.
That's my least favorite part of the whole movie. I just wanted to
punch that guy in the face.
Yeah, it is.
They're just trying to help the family get to safety.
Yeah.
Does he get blown away?
Yeah.
There might be spoiler alerts. But
no, I think they survived.
Okay.
I think they did. I saw their truck flip and then nothing.
Okay.
Well,
he's the one who got
never
inside the
showed
truck,
back
wasn't he?
up, so.
Did he get inside? Yeah. Okay. In honoring the original Twister, which was a 1996 film, it was entirely shot on Kodak 35mm film on location in Oklahoma. And the director said that a large part of the decision came from wanting to capture the natural, vibrant colors of the state. And if you've been to Oklahoma is a beautiful state.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
And it's the central state, isn't it? The middle state of the entire country?
It is.
Oklahoma?
It's the middle state.
I thought so.
That's probably why it's still the prettiest.
Yep.
Could be true. Glenn Powell's parents appeared in this movie, sitting behind him and Daisy Edgar Jones during the rodeo scene. According to Glenn Powell, his parents have been in every movie that he's been in since Spy Kids.
What?
And that's kind of cool.
That is awesome.
You know, I think his IMDb had 58 movies that he had been in.
Oh, wow.
So, 58 projects. Maybe they weren't all movies, but they have been in every one of them. So that's kind of
they're sitting back collecting a paycheck for nothing, basically.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's his just character that he is portraying, but Matthew McConaughey. That's all I can think of.
Okay, I can see that. I could see that. Another thing that helps with Glenn Powell and Matthew McConaughey both is they were both born in Southern Texas as well.
Oh,
yeah,
so they have that kind of, because he did have that kind of down home, a little bit Southern Texas accent, which worked perfectly because they were from.
Well, they need to have that for
Exactly.
a movie like this.
And those accents, really, if you think about it, are some of the friendliest accents in the country.
Yeah,
I think
they are. They are.
I think some of the ones up north, not as much.
Yeah.
Not in, especially
I
the
agree
New Jersey
100%.
ones. Sorry to people from New
Brass.
Jersey. You can be nice people, but your accent,
I doubt they're
We don't
listening
care for
anyways. They'll be alright.
the truth. The truth too. And this is an interesting thing. At the rodeo, Kate is wearing the same outfit as Helen Hunt's Joe's character is wearing in Twister. And Glenn Powell's dog, Hot Brisket, appears in the movie as both official cast member and official set mascot. So
Oh,
that was a cool little tidbit on the film. So
Awesome.
the budget of this movie was, and I think honestly, I'll go back and there was a movie we did back in the fall called The Killer, a great assassin movie, but it was a Netflix movie, a David Fincher movie. But I looked at it and it would cost, the budget that I had found on the research was $150 million, and I was
Wow.
thinking, how is
Right.
that? When I see this cost $150 million, I look at the screen and I can tell where that $150 million went.
Right.
of course.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you can tell a lot of care. Everything from the research I've done, it was accurate as far as meteorologists and weather analysis and things go. It was pretty accurate in the depictions of how they would track the storms and everything.
Yeah.
So
That's cool.
yeah, it is. And they actually rode around with some storm chasers to try to get some experience in actually
That's cool.
doing it. Would you all do that? Want to do a ride along? I
One
would.
Man,
time.
that'd be awesome.
One
At
time.
least one time. And, if I decided I liked it afterwards, yeah, I would probably. But I would at least try it.
Now, would you want to? You know how they got the truck and then they the little, I don't know what it was. They dug it
The
into
drills.
toggers. Yeah, the
That
drill.
was
Yeah.
so smart.
Now, would you want to be in the truck,
Yeah.
drilled in as the tornadoes going around you?
Yes,
If
I
I
would
know
love
I'm
that.
in the
If you know you're not going to be
If I
spun
know-
away.
Yeah, like if they're like that. The ones in the movie were way smaller looking, and I was like, that just doesn't seem launchable.
Right. Yeah.
Well, you got to understand too, though. These dudes have augers. They're not what you call a drill. It's what's called an auger. They've got these big metal blades that can drill into the ground just the same as a drill bit can drill into wood. These things drill into ground, and you basically got an anchor on both sides of your vehicle. If something can lift that thing out of the ground, then well, it deserves to lift it out of the ground.
Yeah. Well, there's crazy natural things like this past week. Did you see the thing where
Yellowstone.
the thing where the whale jumped out of the ocean and knocked the guy's boat and it knocked him off the
The
boat?
sailboat.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
I didn't see
Yeah, it
that.
was like a huge. The whales,
All it takes is just that whale jumping out of the water.
Yeah,
and just
somebody
making
caught it on
a-
video, and it knocked the boat down,
Yep.
but right back up, and then it knocked the guy into the water.
Yep.
But I think he was okay.
Yeah, he got back in the boat.
Now, what would scare me the most out of that is not being knocked out of the boat, but being knocked out of the boat knowing that the whale's underneath me.
Well, why wouldn't it? That
would be like-
scary.
Yes, yes.
A whale, a shark, I don't care, dude. That thing's 500 times bigger than I am. It can swallow me.
Well, see,
So-
here's the thing with whales don't have traditional teeth like we do,
Yeah.
but you would be
Bristle
stuck in their
teeth.
belly. Yeah,
Yeah.
you'd be stuck in their belly. Probably be eaten by
Acid.
whale acid, and that would be a horrible death.
Or whatever they swallowed. You never know, man. They might have fish in there.
True. I mean, what would you
that-
do if you're stuck in a whale's belly? Well, I mean, because you don't. I'm sure you wouldn't die right away.
No.
Would you try to punch your way out? Would you try to climb its tongue to
I'd
get
try
back
to.
out? I mean,
Who
what?
wouldn't try to?
No.
But are you
No.
going to actually
I would
do
just try to see if I had a knife and just do it, do the job myself.
I mean, that would be one of the worst. Digging yourself out of a whale's belly.
I mean,
it?
maybe if I had, well, no. If you had a knife on you, it would probably only be the size of a pocket
Yeah.
knife.
Right.
Well, if you're on a boat, I would hope you would have a knife on you.
You'd have some kind of one.
That's
You would
right.
think so. Maybe you have like a harpoon gun or something.
You could try to
Gosh.
cut yourself out of its cheek or something.
Yeah. True. Very true.
You know how
I would've
thick whale
already-
blubber is?
I would have given up
You
hope
better
as soon
start
as
cutting.
I fell out
Yeah,
of the boat.
I would probably be giving up as well. But we have the budget 155. Now, this movie's only been out about a week, and I wrote this morning. So as of now, the movie's already made 113 million in America and 181 worldwide, and that's in 1 week.
Yeah.
So it's basically made its money back in 1 week, and just now it's just going to be profit over profit over profit.
Yeah.
And they'll get it.
It's got a 75% positive rating on Rotten Tomatoes, which is one of the highest ratings we've had on the show. Audience score is possibly the highest at 92% positive. And the IMDb for a disaster movie has 7.1,
Wow.
which is really unheard of. So let's get into the plot and the story. We got in a little bit. Retired tornado chaser. She's out of the game for a little while. We won't give away too much, but she's in a horrific scene to begin with.
Yeah.
Opening scene.
That's what I loved about it. It just rips your soul apart
Right from the beginning.
10 minutes.
Yeah. And then she goes away. She goes actually far away from Oklahoma to New York City.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's kind of coaxed back in under the guise of she's trying to help, like pretty much what they were trying to do before.
She was wanting to stop tornadoes from reaching small towns.
It's devastating.
Yeah.
And having what happened to her not happen to anyone else.
Yeah.
Because she lost people that she loved.
Which is the whole reason her and Harvey had to falling out.
Yep, to begin with.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's the basic premise of Twisters. And like Jeremiah had mentioned earlier in the show, that basically a lot of the technology that they use as far as the what was the
Dorothy.
I can't remember that.
Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, it was the same premise as the original Twister. So I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, it was great.
Well, what did you all think about these characters? We've got three main characters: Kate, Tyler, and Javi. What did you all think about the cast that we were given?
Very good actors.
I thought so
Yes,
too.
they were
Very
great
good
actors. Kate was going through it like the whole movie, and you could finally see it. You could just see it evolving.
Yeah,
Like the whole mental conflict was just
And she had great. Well, they all did a great job acting, but they all acted really well with just their expressions as well.
Yeah.
Even when they're not saying anything, and there was a lot of good interaction when Tyler, spoiler alert, when he's telling a little bit of his backstory to her, because she thinks he's just this showboat, really, that's just, in it for the internet fame and like that. But he's got a little sentimental backstory that kind of echoes her backstory too, because then she, I think, realizes, hey, he's more than just surface.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And, but I think he plays it up perfectly.
Yeah,
Plays the a full of himself guy, but also the caring. And then Javi has
that threw me for a loop.
he does a great job as well.
He had a good
I thought
redemption
that
arc.
Harvey and her were going to make it through the movie, dude, as a team.
Yeah.
I never expected Harvey, her,
Spoilers.
and Tyler to.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great.
Well, yeah. Without.
And it kind of, I think it really, like you said, Javi did come full circle, because it did kind of throw you for that little loop, his intentions.
Yeah.
But really, I think deep down, personally, I don't think his intentions were to
No, he
screw
just
people
got
out of
in
money.
with
No,
the
he
crowd.
He really wanted to her.
Well,
I think his real goal was her real goal too.
Yeah.
But he just happened to be on the wrong side. But if you remember the original Twister, there was competing storm chasers as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
But what were they doing in the original? Just trying to chase the storm as well?
Basically.
Or did they have a motive? I can't remember.
I can't.
They were all just trying to. Okay, so what it was the in the original they had basically the same machine, Dorothy, that had the little aluminum things that went up into the tornado and spun around and basically killed out the tornado.
Right.
Okay, so in the new one, they're trying to replicate it, but they don't.
Right.
They fell like 2 or 3 times.
Because that's basically one in the first one. That's what they're trying to do, isn't it?
Yeah.
And they miscalculated the scale of the storm in the beginning of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
They thought
it was they thought it was an F1, and it was it ended up being an F5 or an F4.
Yeah, it was a 5. Yeah. So,
God, I could never. I
She
couldn't
was
imagine.
able to tell, like, just by looking at the grass, the way that the grass was blowing.
I thought that was a
that
nice
way.
touch.
Yeah, that
That
was
was
really cool.
awesome.
and I like the fact
She
that,
just had a
that
knack for it.
I like the little banter that she had because like she was trying to throw Tyler off. Was it Tyler? Tyler off to
Yeah.
begin with.
Oh
She
yeah.
had
Yeah, yeah, I think
She
we're
said,
gonna follow
"Oh,
these
where's it coming
storms."
from?
It's going east.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
need to go. She said that these two storms are going to cancel off each other. They're going to hit each other, and it's just going to cancel off. And then you need to go west.
And you know,
She
really,
led him the wrong way,
I
and then
really
they cut
like-
her off.
you can see plain as day how easily people make assumptions about other people because she never once was asked where she was from.
No.
Uh-uh.
Like,
He just assumed
Yep.
he assumed she was city
From
girl.
New York.
City Girl.
Yeah,
Because
she
that's
was.
where
Know what
she had
was
just-
doing, and
Yep.
Yeah.
So I really, really liked that too.
They for a disaster movie, it had some really good chemistry and storylines between the people. Like I was really surprised.
Yeah, me too.
You know, even this is a little bit silly to admit, but at one point, you know, I'd been in emotional places anyway the last couple of months, but it almost brought a tear to my eye when it showed the townspeople after the devastation,
Oh,
of the
yeah,
tornado.
just walking
Because
through
you know
and
that's
everything,
real.
so,
yeah, it is real.
and that's how a lot of people have. You know, if they wake up one day, tornado coming, all their possessions, everything that they've worked,
Everything.
they
Gone.
own.
Yep.
gone,
in,
their whole
in
life,
seconds
Yeah.
too. That's what makes it just awful. It's
devastating.
Sad.
all ripped from you.
What about favorite scene? Did you all have a favorite scene in the movie?
I felt like I was breaking his hand, so that made it my favorite scene.
Okay.
Was when the whole pool scene.
Right.
Yeah. When
Oh man, that was.
what was it? A trailer or something
trailer.
landed over top of it?
Yeah.
like a
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
18-wheeler.
Yeah, it was an 18-wheeler, and that was. I mean, there were some very intense scenes.
Yeah.
And like you said, holding on Jeremiah's hand, I was holding on to the grip of the seat, and you know,
I got
I
these
was.
like claws, so I'm pretty sure I was like, I checked him afterwards. I
He
was
got
like,
some
"You got any
indentions on his
indentions?"
I'm still recovering
Yeah.
from it, man. Y'all send me prayers.
What about you, Jeremiah? Did you have any particular scene that stood out to you?
My favorite scene probably was the first one. That guy that he kept telling her, the worst place to get was underneath an overpass, and that was basically the only place they had to go.
The only place.
He had to drag her up there, basically, dude, and he got her up there, and then all of a sudden something comes and just, you don't even know what it is. It just smacks him, and you hear a ding, and
He's gone.
bye.
He's gone.
And
I mean, I would have went to the overpass because, like you said, where else would you have gone?
Exactly. You
I
gotta
don't
just
know.
take your chances at that point.
But you would think though, like, why would the overpass not be a good idea? Except for what happened to that guy, it seems like
If
They
it
say
came
that,
through
like,
it,
wind
it could rip
comes-
it.
they say that wind comes through there at a higher speed, where it's
Like,
where
Like a
you've
tunnel.
got a little
Yeah.
tunnel, basically.
so. Yeah, and it seems like in the original Twister there was a scene where they
Yeah.
got under the
Yep.
overpass or something
And
like that too. Or-
Two people died too.
okay,
That's
then the
I
first
think
one,
that's
three.
why they do that.
okay.
It had something.
I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch the first
Yeah.
one. It's been a while,
would
but I'll
too.
go back and redo that. I like the couple of the scenes. I like the scenes where they were went into the movie theater.
Oh,
I thought that was
Oh,
really
yeah.
intense.
It
and-
was
Yeah,
intense.
everybody was about to get wiped out.
yeah,
there.
and it kind of was a throwback in a way because in the original one they were at the drive-in movie
Yeah.
theater when it came through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in this one they were in the actual movie theater. I thought that was a good standout scene. Like I
Was
said,
cool.
them seats, every time I'd hear that bolt break,
yeah, when his foot was caught on that one seat, I mean, one slip,
Oh, yeah.
they're gone.
Gone.
I mean,
yeah, and I really liked that girl that he was trying to save, the drone girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I loved her. I thought she was probably, other than Kate, she was my favorite.
favorite character. I've just had a lot of good characters and a lot of good little side characters like that
They
one.
had a lot of like diversity in, they had trained kids.
Yeah, yeah.
Out there chasing storms and
Yeah.
folk punk music going on.
But you have to
Like,
probably
it was so
imagine, like,
cool.
these kids and stuff, like people that live in, Tornado Alley that way.
Yeah.
A lot of them,
They have to
this
live
is what
with
they
it.
see all the
Yeah.
time. I mean, like if you live in a place where there's earthquakes all the time.
Yeah,
Like,
you
I was
get
in-
prepared for
I was in D.C. It was whenever the movie The Hangover came out, and I was up at the. I worked at the projection. I was projection, and it was one of the only times I've been in a earthquake because everything's. It happened. It happened down here too. Like it was felt down here because I remember seeing it on Facebook and stuff. But the projector, everything was shaking, but the projector was shaking and it shook like off screen.
Yeah,
like
Yeah.
make it go off. Yeah.
And I was like, what's going on? And everyone had to run. We were in a shopping center, so everyone had to run out. Well, everyone walked out, but it was a earthquake.
When I was in California, there was an earthquake, but we were so far up north. I mean, in the Sequoia Forest,
Yeah.
we couldn't feel it. Everybody was like, "Did you feel the earthquake? It hit like mid Cali," and I was like, "No."
No, I didn't feel it. But these people in Tornado Alley, Oklahoma and Kansas, I'm sure a lot of them see this tornadoes unless it gets a certain amount closer to them. They're like, it's over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas we would be like, get the
There's not no
binoculars.
tornado. It's usually just a false alarm.
Yeah.
Like in the restaurant.
So, do you
Yeah.
think anybody has actually tried to go and recreate stopping a tornado in real life?
I don't know.
After seeing the first one, I bet that's.
I bet we'll have to do some
I bet
research and look
they
that up on YouTube and see.
Or at least go and shoot some fireworks up in.
Now, I did find that was pretty cool.
That was.
And I thought it looked cool when the tornado went through like the electrical power plant.
Oh my
Oh
gosh.
yeah. The line,
Yeah. Oh,
man,
that was another
great.
spot that I was gripping his
Yeah,
hand.
yeah, because that wasn't nothing like that was done in the original one, so they did a real good job. And you were talking about what was your least favorite scene? Where he was the guy was
Oh,
complaining.
in the hotel, and he was like, "Now the power's
yeah.
going out. I want my money back."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Bro,
And then
you're
he
not
got
gonna have
sucked
no
up.
money. You're not gonna have a life to worry about in like 5 seconds."
Karma.
Which is funny that is Bill Paxton's son. I didn't know that at the time. I had no idea.
That's crazy, man.
Let's see. Let's see the score and the music.
Dude, it was a
It was
great
pretty
soundtrack.
I'm not
Lot of
really a
country,
country fan.
Still,
But it fit,
It
though.
fit the movie.
yeah, of course, it's Oklahoma.
Yeah, and it was like I thought it was like a throwback to like real country music,
Yeah,
not like the pop country
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
this song.
I agree with that.
Like this is Dead End Road. And like you, I'm not a huge modern day country fan,
That ain't bad though.
but it fits the movie perfectly, and it makes
Yeah.
you want to go out and chase these storms.
It does.
Yeah, it does. I was in Nevada one time. We were driving through a levee,
Uh huh.
and the storm, I mean, it came from nowhere. We were in the desert, so it didn't rain for months.
Right.
Well, this storm literally came out of nowhere, and I mean, flooded. As soon as we got out of the levee, not even 2 seconds later, I could see the water flooding down behind the truck, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!"
Wow.
Like, it ripped all the shutters off of the hotel. And
So it was a
everything.
terrible storm then.
Yeah, it was bad. I mean, like tsunami levels bad.
Wow.
In the desert, it was the strangest thing I have ever seen.
Interesting. But yeah, I think the score and the music fit the movie perfectly.
It did.
Originality, I mean, it's a disaster twister movie.
Yeah,
It does what it's supposed to do.
It does.
exactly.
I mean, what do you expect from a twister movie? What we saw.
A bunch of stuff
Yeah.
getting ripped apart.
Yeah. And this one I thought went above and beyond a lot of disaster. Because I don't know if you all remember, back in this, I've done some research. In the 70s, late 70s, mid 70s, late 70s, a lot of disaster movies came out. And then they recreated it in the 90s. They had a lot of disaster movies. You had Twister, and then you had The Day After Tomorrow in 2004.
Yes, I
yeah.
love that.
And then you
movie.
have Deep Impact, and then you had
Mhm.
Armageddon.
Oh,
And then there
And
was
then
like
2012.
Volcano, 2012, Volcano, Dante's Peak. So there was a lot of disaster type movies, and there's not been as many the last few years. And this might bring it back
I think
because
it will.
Twister
good.
started it back in the 90s. And I think
I forgot about Day After Tomorrow.
Yeah.
That was such a good movie.
2004.
Where they were burning the books in the library to stay warm.
Yep.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Jake Gyllenhaal and Dennis Quaid.
that was a great one.
And but yeah, this might bring back the disaster movie because CGI now is to the point where
It's reached its max right now.
Yeah.
It really has.
yeah, I think so too. I certainly think so. So originality, I mean, I don't know how original. It'd be like
7.
how original can a Die Hard
Yeah.
movie be?
Yeah.
Right.
If it's good, it does what it's supposed to.
Do you know, so back to it being maxed out right now, like CGI and all that stuff, AI is pulling inspiration from other AI projects now.
I've read
It's
that.
like, it's already happening. They're grabbing samples from other AI generated artwork to create new artwork.
That's
Well,
crazy.
that's what AI is. Yeah.
In probably 10 years' time,
They're
probably
not
AI would be
original.
trying to like do the show, and we're going to be like, no, we're doing the show, not you, AI. Like it'll be trying to take over doing the show.
They already have.
I thought the poster. There's a couple different posters of Twisters. I posted one and tagged you all in it today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's a couple different ones. There's one that I'm looking at the album. It's got a huge twister and it's got everyone's back and they're just looking at it. The one that I posted, I think it has
Yeah.
everyone's
I like that.
face. They're looking at it. It
Yeah.
looked pretty good. And I think the poster, like the soundtrack, fits.
It does.
It's a good poster. It's what you expect. What more can you
Right.
expect from that? And would you recommend this movie to others? Why or why not?
Yes, definitely, because I don't like scary movies, and that was great.
Thriller.
Yes,
It was
I like
more
more
of a thriller.
thriller.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And there was still a lot of other, things going on too. So, I
and this was a
really
movie
liked it.
also I thought that other than, there's a lot of family cartoon movies and things like that, I thought this was the movie that you'd be able to bring your family to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So when
Absolutely.
we were sitting, there were so many kids
Yeah.
in the theater. There was a whole family in front of us with like a 2-year-old on
Right.
their lap watching, and he was screaming tornadoes.
Loving it, loving it.
Yeah.
So when I was sitting there thinking,
One had a shirt on, said "Future Tornado Storm Chaser."
and I do plan, like I said, to drive out to Utah and then Slab City this fall. So maybe, just maybe, I can just drive through Oklahoma and then just see a tornado.
In the distance.
Yeah, and then I won't chase it. I might chase it till like when it's from like Norton to Wise, that far. Okay, I'm about 15 miles away.
Yeah.
I can see it. And then when it gets close enough to start like raining or like picking trash cans up, I'm like, all right, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
That
I'll
made
pull
me
over
so
right
nervous.
quick.
They were probably driving in real weather like
Oh
that.
yeah.
Yes.
I could not do that and being filmed doing that at all. That rain what part is it? In the beginning, when he hits something because he can't see it,
Yeah.
Oh
the rain
yeah.
is just sheeting down onto the car.
He said he couldn't see.
Now, see, I would have continued driving in that scenario.
No.
Because what did he end up doing? Driving into the tornado? Is that what he did?
I
He
think so.
went the wrong way and drove straight into it.
Yeah, I would have been. I don't even know what I would have done. Maybe I would have. I bet I would have been freaked out, probably.
Yeah.
If you're in that situation and you're not used to
What are
it.
you
It
gonna
literally
do? Listen
takes
to
a different
who?
type of
But I never would have gotten that
person
close
to
if
do
I
anything
wasn't
like
used
that.
to it. I'd be like,
Uh-uh.
I felt so bad for that reporter.
yeah.
He was like a harness.
Oh
They
yeah.
didn't tell me I wore a harness.
Hey, he stuck through the whole movie.
He
though.
did. He did.
I
And he
give
warned.
him
I
that.
bet he. If there's another, he would.
He'll be in the next.
Yeah.
one, if there's
Yeah.
one.
But he didn't want to ride with him at the end, though, did he?
No.
Did he say he was?
He said,
Yeah,
I'm
he was
gonna,
like, okay,
no
I'll ride with
offense,
someone
but I'm
else."
going to ride with someone else.
Yeah. So yeah, I think we're all in agreement that Twisters is a fun movie for the family. It's got some great tornado action. Some
Yeah.
pretty realistic, heartfelt human connections with the characters.
Yeah.
A good central story and cinematography is great.
Mhm.
CGI is spectacular. The musical score fits perfectly, and I think it's a good night out.
Yeah,
It sure
absolutely.
And I would definitely, this would be one that I would go watch again.
Yeah,
I would
for sure.
definitely go watch.
I'd
again.
like to watch it again too, man, because I feel like there's a lot of things in this movie that actually have to do with the first movie.
Yeah,
That
I didn't
people
even realize
don't
that she
catch.
had on the same outfit. I just
Yeah,
saw
I
that
didn't
in the
either. I thought it was very 90s-esque, though.
Yeah.
It was. It definitely was.
I thought so too, but when I
Just
did the
better
research, I was like,
CGI.
oh, okay, I kind of remember
Yeah.
thinking something crazy about
Yep.
her outfit.
It was a good movie, for
Yeah,
sure.
I thought so too.
See, dude, like
Also-
I would take my kids to see this movie. My mom didn't like it much. She said it had too much to do with Kate's love story.
Okay.
And I kind of, in a way, agree with that. I really do.
I
But
don't.
she
I liked
said
it.
that there wasn't enough action in it. That's the one thing that I could disagree with. Dude, this movie had plenty of action from beginning to end.
Right.
It was action packed.
I thought so too. I thought I thought there was a good balance of tornado
Right.
and human.
Yeah, I did too.
Nature. You're
Yeah.
gonna have something in between there. You know, you gotta have some kind of storyline. You can't just have a movie with a bunch of tornadoes
Right.
tearing stuff
Right.
up.
Just
You gotta
watch a
have some kind of
documentary if you wanna do
storyline.
that.
Right. Well,
But-
see, I was even rewatching last night. I rewatched a little bit of the Matrix Revolutions.
Oh man.
The first 35 minutes, I kind of skipped through, but the first 35 minutes, honestly, could be cut out.
Yeah, it
The
could.
first
It could.
35 minutes could
Absolutely.
be cut out. Because that's a story where most people are going in to watch Neo fight or Bullet
Of
Time or
course.
this or that.
Yeah.
And the story, but you got 35 minutes of a meandering story that's not even coherent.
Just nothing.
Right.
And then they're dancing in Zion for
Yep.
15 minutes. And I'm like,
Yep.
no one cares about this.
For real.
So, but I thought Twisters had a good balance of,
It did.
No one cares and everybody cares.
like intense opening, you get the story, okay,
Yeah.
they're in New York. Okay, she's going back to Oklahoma, and then it kind of segues in between. Because
Right.
I mean, how many storms did they chase?
I think
At
it was
least-
like 3
of
or
course.
4.
I was going to say at least 3. That's what I thought.
Well, they chase 3 big ones now. They chased several storms. You know, some of them they missed. Like the first one, she miscalculated it, went the wrong way.
Right.
Was it the second or third storm? She told dude to go this way, and she was.
Yeah.
She
that was
said
the
that
second one, I think.
these 2 storms were going to cancel out already. Whatever. Blah blah. But
But yeah, I
It was
thought.
great, especially since we only paid $4 a ticket to go see
Nice. That's
Yeah.
even better. That's
Yeah.
even better.
good luck finding the prices on here, man.
So next week we're going to dive. Stephen Murray is going to be in. We're not going to do the other people's show tonight, but we're going to start back next week. Will be the first week in August. So we'll start back with a brand new episode of that, and we're going to be diving into Love Lies Bleeding.
Okay. Lana was telling me about that one earlier.
So it says it's about a gym manager falls for Jackie, a bodybuilder who is passing through town en route to competition in Las Vegas.
Okay.
But the poster has a woman on the poster turned kind of sideways with a gun in her hand. So it's drug, crime, action, adventure, crime, mystery, romance, thriller.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. So Stephen Murray will be joining for that. He's going to be playing some new tunes from his new album, Rituals.
Cool.
It's out now, and it's going to be a fun time.
Awesome.
So thank you all for joining tonight. Amber, Bullfrog, thank you.
Thank
And
you.
please, everyone, go to the social media pages. That's the Facebook, Spotify, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram, The Other People Show. Like and subscribe. And much appreciated, everyone.
Have a good night.
You all have a good night.
If you don't share, you're not my friend no more.
True. Bye, guys.